Good morning and welcome back to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast, and I'm Melanie.
And I'm Esther, and today we're breaking down something that sounds a bit technical, but it's actually one of the most practical frameworks you can use in your marketing.
Yes, we're talking about owned, earned and paid media. Now, if you've ever wondered why your content isn't getting seen or how to actually grow your visibility without burning out, this episode is for you.
We'll explain what each one means in plain English, give you real examples, and most importantly, show you how to use all three together.
So let's start simple. These three terms are just different ways your business gets visibility. There's owned, what you control, earned, what others say about you, and paid, obviously what you pay for.
And most businesses tend to rely too heavily on just one, which is usually social media, which is actually only part of owned, or as I would call rented, media.
Yes, owned media is everything that you own and control, which obviously we don't own and control all of our owned media. It's just a catch-all, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so this includes your website, your email list, of course, your blog, and your podcast.
Of course. And it includes your social media accounts. But the key word here is control. It's not that you control like the algorithms of social media, but you decide what goes out, when it goes out, and how it looks when it goes out.
But here's the catch. Just because you own it doesn't mean people will see it.
Exactly. You still need to drive traffic to it.
Okay, so let's just say, for instance, wherever you are listening to this episode right now, I'd like you to think of a couple of things. And maybe chat with a friend over lunch, or because obviously this is Monday morning, so hopefully you'll catch up with friends or colleagues at lunchtime. Isn't that right, Esther?
Of course.
So there's a couple of talking points I'd like you to sort of look at and reference. And the first one is, are you relying too much on Meta, on Instagram or Facebook? And do you actually own your audience there? You don't.
No, you don't. And that's what I was saying. That's more like rented media.
Yeah.
But take 5 minutes today and write this down. Okay. This is task number 1 for you. Do you have an email list? Hopefully your answer is yes. Do you have a website that you update regularly? Hopefully again your answer is yes. And what platform do you actually own? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the earned media part. So earned media is when other people talk about you. You don't control it, you earn it. It's what we talked about a few episodes ago with social proof.
Yeah. So this includes PR coverage, of course, reviews, testimonials, general word of mouth. You know, you mustn't exclude that. Any shares or mentions, and podcast interviews. You see a little thread going through this conversation, don't you?
And this is where trust comes in, because people believe other people more than they believe you. Okay. That
100%.
may be hard to digest.
Yeah.
But they believe other people more than they believe you.
Yeah, a testimonial can do so much more than 10 posts from your own account.
So why do people trust reviews so much? Think about it for a minute. Do you go and look at the reviews before you buy a product or visit a restaurant? Are you actively asking for testimonials, or are you just hoping for them? When's the last time you asked for a testimonial?
That's a really good question, actually. And you can let us know in our social media if you've recently asked for one. So this week, okay, it's Monday, this week, your mission, should you wish to accept it, is to ask for 3 past clients for a testimonial. And obviously then screenshot it and review it and share it. And obviously you can repurpose it using Canva or tools like Canva for different platforms. And then please make sure that you tag and thank someone who mentioned your business.
Yeah.
Now, this time we're going to be talking about paid media. Now, this is the one people either love or avoid completely.
Or hate.
Okay, that was a bit direct.
Yeah. Paid media, as the name so aptly says, is any promotion that you pay for. So that could be Meta ads, that's Facebook or Instagram ads, Google ads, even LinkedIn ads, sponsored posts, boosts, influencer collaborations. Okay,
Mm.
all of those where money comes out of your pocket or your bank account are paid media.
Now, here's the thing: paid media is not a magic fix.
Exactly. If your message isn't clear or your offer isn't strong, ads won't fix that. So think about it. Why are you boosting random posts that don't work? Okay. We had Aggie Maroney on recently, and she was saying that boosting can help, but you have to
Mm.
first look at if the post is performing well before you boost it. Okay. So you don't just go in and boost every single post because you feel that that's what you should do to get more eyes on your content. It won't work like that. Okay. The importance it's important to have a goal before spending money, right? So what is your end objective from boosting that post that has, a behind the scenes of the office? What is your point of boosting the post or putting money to, creating a full ad if you're not really selling something and you're just talking about your business? What is your end goal?
Mm. Okay, guys. So your task for this week, should you wish to accept it, is this is taking me back so far, isn't it? Um, is I've got three things I'd like you to try and do before you run any ads, or maybe you've been running ads recently and this is your time to sort of look over them more objectively. Think first and foremost, just like Esther said, what is the point of them? What is the goal? Where on the funnel are you
Yeah,
for running this ad? Is it
yeah.
awareness? Is it leads? Or is it sales? Also, where are you sending these people? Are you sending them to an event? Are you sending them to actually to your testimonials just to help people better understand your social proof? Are you sending them to an event? Where are you sending them?
Are you
And
sending them
also,
to a website that needs updated?
well, exactly, yeah. And is this something that already works organically? Exactly like Aggie said, before you run ads, you should have a look and see what kind of organic posts are working. And what she suggested a couple of weeks ago was to boost a post that was working organically first, and then you can hopefully use that same content or something similar to it to create an actual paid ad that will work for your audience and for your goal. So, with all this in mind, this is where it all comes together. This is where the real power of using all three gels together.
Yeah. So think of it like this: your owned media is your home. Okay.
Yeah.
Your earned media is your reputation, and your paid media is your amplifier, your megaphone. Okay. So it's to get your voice out there more,
Hmm. So here's a simple example. You create a blog post or a podcast like we're doing here. We actually do both.
which is
We
your
then,
owned.
well, yeah, that's your own, and then we hope people share it or review it, and we do have some lovely testimonials. Thank you very
Yes.
much. You can
Yes.
always do
Those
with
are our earned.
more. And then, of course, we can run ads to it as well, and that would
That's
be
your
the
paid.
paid.
Yeah. And then suddenly, instead of one piece of content, you've created a full marketing system.
Yeah.
Okay. So, why does consistency matter more than perfection? Because I hear a lot of times like, oh,
Mm.
I need the ad to look just right. I need the imaging to look just right. I need the text to be perfect before I do anything. But consistency is more important because the more you show up online, the more you'll be seen organically, the more reputation you'll earn because people will see the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Mm.
and they may identify more with that than just seeing the perfection.
Mm. And also, you got to think about how we can compete with a huge budget that other businesses will have as well. And I think a lot of that's down to the fact that um, I think the larger businesses, although they may have the money, they don't necessarily have the most unique brand persona, and you can be a bit more yourself. You can be a bit more nimble, I think, as a smaller business. Okay, you got a smaller budget, but you've got more opportunity to, sit down and create a reel. Whereas
Yeah,
everything needs to be passed through departments and department heads and
yeah.
get approving. And when you're in your own business, you don't need any of that.
No, and a lot of people nowadays are starting to turn away from larger businesses and
Yeah.
preferring the smaller ones because they don't like how the larger ones are run or the ethics behind the larger ones or the owner of the larger one getting more and more and more money. So people are making that decision now to shop more locally, to help the small business owner, to go with someone that has more ethics behind them.
Mm.
Okay, so got another task for you to do. I mean, this week's just full of homework from us. Apologize. Uh, but this week, try this simple strategy. Okay, create one strong piece of content. That could be a post, it could be a blog, it could be a video. Okay, just create one piece of content. Share it across your platforms on your owned media or rented in some cases, but share it across your platforms wherever you are right now. Ask people to engage with it or share it. Do put
Yeah.
a call to action in it. Say something like, if you agree, click like. If you think someone else could benefit from this, share it with them. Tell people what to do,
Yeah.
okay? Because that's your earned media. Then put a small budget behind your best performing post. So if you've shared this, say a blog across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc., whichever one performs best on one of those platforms, put a little bit of money behind it. Okay, and see how that goes by using your paid media.
Okay. Now, we've given you a lot of things to consider so far in this episode, but let's kind of troubleshoot a little bit for you where we can, of course. Obviously, we can't cover everything because we're not you, but let's go through a few of the mistakes that we have seen in the past and sometimes quite regularly.
Regularly. Okay, so regularly I see people relying solely on social media.
Yeah.
Okay, that, like we've said, great platforms, but they could be closed overnight. They
Mm.
could be, a lot of people I've seen, because we work in the industry, we see a lot of people going, I lost access, and these are people who have been in the industry a long time as well. So it's not as if it's, they're just starting out and have a very small following. Or people aren't building email lists. Okay, this one, I love email marketing, very strongly advocate for having an email list so that if and when your social media gets um, removed from your access, then you still have a way to contact the people who follow you. Okay, I also see people running ads with no strategy.
Yeah.
So, like we
That's
said,
quite
what is
common.
what is the goal? What do you want to achieve? Where on the funnel do you want them to land? Where do you want them to go when they click on the ad? And what is the hopeful outcome that you have for that? Okay. Then other people who ignore testimonials and reviews. Now, these can be positive or negatives. Like if somebody leaves you a negative testimonial or review, you should not just ignore that. Use it to improve. Okay. Yes, there'll be some that are just out to troll. Those ones you can just move on from. But if it is a real complaint from a real customer, you need to address it, or at least tell them that you will take it offline and address it to them. But let the rest of your audience know that you will be addressing it.
Yeah.
And if it's a positive review, thank them. Mention them as well when you're thanking them. Okay. But I think one of the major mistakes that we see all the time is not repurposing content. And we've talked
Yeah.
about, I've lost track of the number of podcasts that we've had where we talk about ways to repurpose content, how to repurpose it, how to turn a blog into a video into a blog, and all the hundreds of posts that you can come out with from those blogs. Obviously, we have podcasts and galore at this point. We've over 330 podcasts now. So repurposing would, like, it makes a lot of sense for us because there's so much content. But even if you just spend time making one piece of content, you can turn that into so many things as well.
And probably the biggest mistake we see is people expecting instant results.
That
It
is
just
so
doesn't
true.
happen.
It doesn't. It doesn't, okay? This is the long game, okay? We've been in this game for jointly around 30 years at this point. Social media has been around for over 20 anyway. And there are people who still expect the overnight success, okay? But as many speakers that we've listened to recently over the last few years have said, I'm an overnight success after 10 years of doing what I was doing. Okay. So when you get the balance right, though, it works.
Okay, so if you're going to take one thing from today's episode, it's this. Please, please don't rely on just one type of marketing.
Exactly. Use owned, earned, and paid together. And if it helps you to remember, change the wording around a little bit and call it poem. So paid, owned, and earned media. Okay. Use all of the poem together, even if it's in small ways, and you will start to see a difference.
Well, we hope that you found this helpful, and we very much would like you, if possible, to share this with someone who is also trying to grow their business. Remember, repurposing, sharing, creating earned.
Social proof. Yes. And as always, thank you for listening to us today on the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast.
And we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.